Alright, welcome everybody. In today's video, I'm just gonna work on my game engine called AntSim, which is short for Ant Simulator, because I started making it as a simulator for ants, but it became a way bigger deal, and so now I'm still looking for a better name for it, but that's what it's called right now, AntSim 3, because it's the third iteration of a game that I tried to make. And so I'm making this game/simulation engine that, yeah, well, you just see what kind of happens. I can just run some stuff real quick here. Um, how about Orbits? Orbits is a great program that I like that I wrote. Basically, it's a bunch of little spheres. And wow, the FPS are a bit bad right now because I'm also recording. So let me quickly change the amount here. That's a little bit. Oh wow, that's a lot. I don't know why I did that. Probably stress testing or something. I don't remember why I did that. So yeah, you can see their little circles, and when they crash into each other, if we can see that at some point, they smack together and they explode. Well, the smaller one explodes. And it's just one of those like tech demo things, I guess, that I did to just, see what, and the color changes obviously. Then the little shards they crash into other things and yeah, boop, boop, boop. Yeah. So pretty simple little game here. Not even a game, it's just a pretty simulation that you can record, look at, I don't know, whichever one you prefer. And this uses physics, like real physics. So using the whole F equals G times M1 times M2 divided by R squared formula. It's some Newton shit. I don't know. Um, I'm not a physicist, so who cares? But yeah, so they change mass depending on what they crash into. So if they crash into the little things, they get mass from the little things, and that's everything. So um, yeah, this is one game object, this entire simulation, because it was easier to implement that way. But in the future, I'm gonna try to make it in the proper way, and yeah. So the way that code looks right now is so we have an entity component system, which is a pretty standard way of doing things in a game engine these days. So we make an entity, we add a component called the embody system component, and on update it gets called every frame. It doesn't have delta time yet, but we'll get to that. Um, and then we do all sorts of shit. We do a n squared, O of n squared algorithm here, where we have nested for. We iterate over all the bodies in the simulation, and we calculate each forces on each other one in the simulation, right? Um, and then we do some stuff to get the color. Then we render it with the current rendering technique that allows us to render whatever we want. Now this is a really shit way of doing it. Obviously, you can see it's very repetitive, it's very ugly. The reason I'm doing it like this is because this is the fastest way to do it. This is a super tight loop, right? We're simulating, what are we simulating? Like 2000 n bodies. So, and I don't want to make too many compromises here. So if we're simulating 2000, what was that? 2000? I don't remember. Yeah, 2000. 2000 n bodies, that's 2000, 2000 times 2000 updates per frame, well, calculations per frame. So all this square root, all this shit, and all these constructing a vector and constructing this and that. So we can do all of this in like 4 calls, but we're not doing that because of the tight loop. So if this would be four calls right here. Whoops, that would be 4 calls. Let me quickly minimize this so that doesn't happen. And I don't know. That's just odd, because we would be constructing a vertex object each time. So instead of constructing a new vertex, we just change their position and the color. We seriously need some interface for this. In the drawable, which is simple drawable here. This is what we use to draw stuff. Simple draws like anything that's just like a 2D thing with a texture, which is basically anything. I don't know why I called it simple drawable, but fuck it. And so, yeah, that's why this happens, and otherwise we would have, what the fuck is this number? 4 million? Yeah, 4 million of these calculations here. So vector normalization, distance calculation. I mean, we do square distance, but we do a bunch of square roots as well. We construct vectors. We do this, that, and the other thing, and so we do that 4 million times a frame, right? Which at 120 FPS is a lot of times per second, and so even with my processor, which um, is an i7-9700K, you still get significant lag when you're talking about, I don't know how many millions of calculations a second, or 100 millions of calculations a second or whatever, and so I'm really not about to do that. So that's why this looks ugly. And so the reason I'm doing these things, and I'll get to the engine in a second, is to learn to use my own engine and to see where it has quirks. So one quirk is making a texture from a resource. Okay, so how do resources work? Resources work uh, um, resources work by having this. So there's this data folder, and we can configure that if it's called the data or whatever it's called, and we configure the name of this file. This right here is called res.list, and res.list is, God, this editor is ugly. Okay. Res.list is a line by line list of all resources, and this is a really primitive format right now, and it doesn't really matter that this is shit because I need to do this way because I want to be able to later abstract away the entire resource thing and to have its own data type, its own packaged resource type, right? Um, so yeah, we have all these files here. They're just for testing. We could remove them. And then we have planet.png, which is the one that we're actually using for the simulation, for the orbits program to actually show the little circles, because they're not actual circles, right? We're not rendering circles, that would be retarded. We're rendering rectangles with a texture. Pretty simple. With a sprite, if you will. And this planet texture is literally just a fucking white circle, right? And then we apply it to this white circle. I don't know how you can. Okay, but to this white circle, we just apply color, and that's what we do right here. So we apply texture with texture coordinates, and then we give it a color. And yeah, this entire rendering thing is completely unoptimized, so I have to change that. Right now, there's one abstraction I want to work on though, and that's what I'm going to be doing today in this recording, I guess. Let's make this small, and let's see, 8 minutes. Okay. So load texture is a method that we have that we call right here. So the way I'm not going to explain all this, but basically we say our solar system, which is the entity that we have, is a new entity, and then we add a component to it called the embody system component, and then we call comp.load texture, and comp.load texture is a method specifically available only to this embody system component. It's not a virtual component method or anything like that. And so it's this right here. And it's all it does is it asks the resource manager for the resource planet.png and loads it into an SFML texture, an SF texture right here, this thing. And that's it. Like that. It doesn't do anything else. Okay. And so this is a lot of code to do that. and we have an assert in here, which means that we crash if something goes wrong, which is a horrible idea. We have a whole lot of things that will crash, like this .value.get, .value will fail, and .get won't work, and that sort of thing. So this is very ugly. Just to show what this would look like if it was in one line, we could do this all in one line. So we could do mplanet texture is managed SF texture new SF texture. I could have copied that actually. I was thinking I was going to do something else, but whatever. And we say load from file, load from memory. That's what we want. So now we want the data pointer, and the data pointer is going to be a well, it's going to be a standard vector of standard uint8t or some shit, right? It's going to be a reference because we got a reference to the data. The data exists already, might be loaded, might not be loaded, whatever. And then we say, well, I need the parents. So the parent of the current component is the entity. We need to get that. Then we get the world that is attached that like contains that entity. Then we get the application that contains the world. Then we get the resource manager in that application. Then we say get resource by name, and we type in the name. And then, and I know this is shred, this is why I'm demonstrating that. Then we do value, get, value, get. And that's how we do that. And so, if you think that that's ridiculous, it is ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking stupid. And the reason we have all these get value, get whatever, and then we do like data, data size. That's it, right? And so this does actually, hold on. That does the same thing, right? And there's a lot of things here. Like there's a pointer that might or might not be null pointer, right? You have to consider that. We need to figure out this value. Dot value is actually a basically an optional. It's called the result, and it gives you an OK or an arrow or a message, whatever you want, right? And so it can have all sorts of values that aren't what you want, right? And this last dot get is a reference, a standard reference wrapper get. So that's what that is. So there's a whole lot of fucky shit going on. I want to clean this up. This interface is ugly. So we'll start by going into the lazy file. Now, lazy file, so let's first look at the resource manager for a second. The resource manager has a map of strings to files. And these lazy files are actual objects that make sure that the file exists, that it's like maybe even readable. I don't know if we do that yet. I don't think we do. Well, we definitely check whether it's available, what size it has, that sort of thing. And so when you construct a lazy file, it will like validate it, right? It will make sure that the file exists. It won't load it though, because it's lazy. And whenever you want to get the value of like the actual data in the file, you just call value or some shit. Get this here, get. So it's no discard result, standard reference wrapper, standard vector, standard uint8t. This is very ugly, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename this to ref, because that's the thing we have now. And that's going to be in common. Yeah. So that's a first improvement, right? We'll change it here too, because this is very ugly. Ref. And ref. And so that's an improvement for this code. But really what we want is we want this to just crash if you don't handle it. If you don't handle the error first, right? You have to check whether it's valid before you do this. And so a sane way to do that would be to just return the vector as a pointer. And return null pointer if we don't have that. So we don't really care anymore if whether it's failed or not at this point, because if we get the value, we assume that it hasn't failed and that everything's okay. And so we should assume that the user knows what they're doing, or the person that's using our code knows what they're doing. And so instead of returning some sort of error, so the way it worked before is really nice, right? This result thing is really nice. I took that from Pascal, and so the idea is that you go and you say, well, you make a result first, and then you set the value when if it's loaded, and if something went wrong, you set the error, right? And then you return the result. And so in any case, the result is a valid object. I don't really care about that. Oh, already loaded shouldn't return null pointer. Already loaded should return mdata, but the reference, the address of mdata. Right. So this whole thing, we just wanna, right? We just want to return the validation result message, because I didn't tell that yet, but basically we have this validation result, and so whenever we construct a lazy file, it's gonna call, where is it? Where's the constructor? There. It's gonna call validate, and validate is this old function here. This right here function. And you can see that we have a validation result, and we do a whole try catch. We do all sorts of error corrections. So each step we check that they go well. So we check whether the path exists, whether that is a regular file or just a folder. We don't accept folders in the resources. Like a resource as a folder doesn't make any sense. We convert the path into an absolute path, so that the printing of the errors is more, it makes more sense, I guess, because if you get a so that you know why it's failed, right? If it's like, oh, this file doesn't exist, or this file isn't a file, it just tells you the file name, then you don't know why, right? But if it shows you a path and you see, well, that's not supposed to be the path that I meant, right? I meant this path slash file and not the other path slash file or some shit. Then we stat, and when we stat, that's quite an interesting thing that we have. So we stat by calling stat from, I think, can we do stat? No, I can't. Okay. So we get the we stat the file, so we see how large it is, what its size is in bytes, when it was last modified, and that sort of thing. And so we cache that, and right here, so that we can ask the lazy file, well, has it changed on disk, right? Because maybe we want to reload it, hot reload it or not, stuff like that, right? We have force reload, force unload, and get. And so in size on disk will get you the size, but get will give you the object back. Force, like, get will load the object if it's not, like, load the file and map it into a standard vector. If it's not loaded already, and if it's loaded already, we'll just give you back the thing without saying anything. Force reload will always reload it, but it won't give you anything back, so you would call force reload and then get. And force unload will unload the file, for whatever reason you might want to do that. Yeah, and so we still have to fix up a whole lot of stuff in here. So get report error, that's gonna go in here. Report error. Reset stays. I'll put her. So reset is a function that clears the data, tries to get rid of all the memory that it holds, right? So the vector holds a bunch of memory because it gets resized to fit the size that we started. And so if we reset it, we clear it and we shrink it to fit, which isn't the call that is guaranteed to do jack shit. But it might, depending on implementation, and we set loaded to files. Okay, whatever. So we'll go back here and I'll stop talking too much about that sort of thing. Just grab this, put that in here. So again, the reason we're getting rid of the result thing is just that the code gets super clunky and it's unnecessary. I've never seen myself, like, if it returns a pointer, you're already, it's implied that, like, that's fucky, right? You have to check if it's null pointer anyways, right? Every time you see a little arrow operator like this, you have to, like, check whether it's null pointer, right? And so, at this point, I assume that you realize, well, we should probably check whether it's valid before we access this, right? Yeah, if closed failed might be bad. We don't really care about that. And then we just return mdata. Sorry, address of mdata. And here we return null pointer if something went wrong. And this report error thing is actually just a print. Like, it's a bit more complicated than that, but it's basically just, yeah, it's just a format print. That's all it is. With a few colors and that sort of thing. So it doesn't actually do anything like write to files or whatever. It's not a proper error reporting thing. It's just like, hey, something wrong, whatever. Prints it to send it out. That's it. Give me a minute. All right, let's continue. So, right, the lazy file thing. So, right here, you see that something fucky happened. So we have this result pool of the force reload. So when we force reload, it will tell us if that worked or not. And if it didn't work, like if it's false, then it gives us back an error as well, right? So it either gives us back true or it gives us back an error. It doesn't even return false in any case. And I'm not sure whether that's a good design, but we'll not fuck with that right now. That hasn't bothered me. We'll just check this, because that's whatever. We'll convert this. Okay, that works. So this has probably broken a whole lot of code. So let's just go through and let's search for get, I guess. Get, let's actually search for get opening parentheses. Yeah, right here, this is broken. This code, yeah, see. Okay, so that code broke. Because this is how you are supposed to use this resource manager lazy file thing. And I assume that instead of starting to fix this, we should see what this fixed. So what this fixed is this right here. So basically we can dereference this, and that's how that works, right? We wouldn't actually want to dereference this directly, but let's not get into that right now. So what's this get? That's a standard vector lazy file get. That's the reference getter. Yeah, it's a reference getter, and that's a... Wait, another reference getter? Oh, no, that's a, yeah. Why would this fail? I don't get that. Hold on. Why would get resource by name return a reference to a lazy file? Do we use that? I guess we do. It's like a standard optional of UL. So I guess this has to stay that way. Okay, that's actually pretty good already though. Like we get a value get. That's not too bad because value get is getting the reference. Like it is getting the result, which is a ref, and then this is getting the reference from the ref. Then this is actually getting the... Let's rename the get method. That's just kind of fucking stupid, right? Can we rename that? Okay, I have to do that in a different. For some reason, Qt Creator doesn't let me fucking rename shit anymore. Something fucky happened there. So that's a new tools lazy file. Let's use Vim instead. Right here and right here. Okay, that one I want to. Oh shit! No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to rename this to like. Yeah, that's right. Let's rename this to like. Load, because that's really what we want it to be, right? Did we actually rename it here? No, we didn't. That was completely fucking useless. Okay, I don't know. That didn't really do much. Yeah, reload all. So this is not called load. That way we don't have the get value, get value, value, get value, get. You know, that sort of dumb shit. So it's now load. And that's a lot prettier because now it's value get load, right? So we have the value, we get the reference, and we load the file. Pretty simple. This whole parent thing isn't making me very happy, but that's how it's gonna be. We want some faster way to access the resource manager, though I don't like the way that that works. So any component should keep track of the I could keep a reference of the resource manager because I say so, right? And it's gonna be a pointer into a thought, but it's clear that it doesn't own anything related to the resource manager, right? Let's actually do that properly. Okay, and then in the constructor, where are you? It's the constructor. Wait, do we not have a constructor? We do have a constructor. Oh, it's default. Okay. Yeah, no, let's not do that. Wait, I'm wondering. We probably don't even have the parent when we're in the constructor. Fuck. This is another issue, right? So the entire reason we need is load texture functions, because if we call this in here, like here, then parent is no pointer, because we set the parent, and we can look at that in the world, or in the entity, is where that is. We construct the entity, give it to the add child method, and yeah. So because entity as a has a constructor, we don't make a non-default constructor, I guess. We don't really want to. No, this is add child. Sorry. Add component is what we want, right? And so this constructs it and then passes it as an R value reference to that component function, which then verifies that it doesn't exist already, and then we push it back, right? So what would be better here is to make this whole thing, overhaul this whole thing. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have type name ellipsis args, and we're going to actually pass args instead. And then we're going to construct it. And then we're going to do that is we're going to have the component constructor take an entity reference. So you can't pass it anything bullshit. Right. Because we don't want to be able to construct a component without an entity. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. We don't need this. These can become references. We're just fucking doing everything here. Whatever. No parent set. We don't care. This becomes parent.world. Well, this actually becomes something else, but let's not fucking worry about that right now. Load. We can just get through and like kind of do our thing here. If not result, report. Let's just do this. I mean, that's not the prettiest thing, but whatever. Okay, refactor. This is super fucking boring, I know, but that's how it be sometimes. Right. Some lambdas. Right, so now in every component class, like in the orbits component class right here, we need to get an entity reference E and that, and then we just, that's the first thing we do, so we say component E, right, and that way we just always initialize it with an entity and then the rest. Dot weld and body system component. Right, this entire thing changes to just that. Right. And that will make sense in a minute. So these args, we stand forward them. So we say make shared. So we say standard forward args, and then ellipsis, and that way we forward the arguments. This is basically just a variable amount of arguments, I guess, whatever. So let's comp. Okay, and then we'll say standard move comp. I don't know if that makes a difference, but we'll move it because we care. Right, we don't need to do this anymore. So the setting of the parent. So before we were constructing and then setting the parent. So we couldn't access the parent in the constructor. Huge pain. So much pain. So this way we'll always have the entity in the constructor. And everywhere else. We can guarantee that we have an entity. We should honestly do the same with the resource manager. Because it's just heavily tied into the whole thing, and there's not going to be an instance where we don't have it. So this is going to be a reference. No, let's keep that a pointer. And let's make the getter return a reference. So this is going to be source manager reference, source manager. Damn. Okay. Right, we wanted to reference this. So that's how we do that, ladies and gentlemen. We just assert. That way, if it is no pointer, we know we fucked up. And now in the constructor of the component, which is up here, oh, it's called mparent, not an entity. Let's rename this to parent. Okay, Okay, listen. Resource manager is parent world resource manager. Application resource manager. Okay. Why pointer? Because I feel like it really doesn't make a lot of sense though. Because again, we'll just do it in the constructor. Before I thought we wouldn't do it in the constructor, that's why I was confused. But of course we're gonna do it in the constructor, where else? This is RAI, right? It's the whole point. Whoops. What did I fuck up again? Some parentheses I shouldn't have. I'm so proud of myself. Right. Right. This gives us everything we need in that way. And sprite component must initialize. Okay, yeah. So all of this kind of breaks apart now. So this is to be component. Like I need this class, this component thing to be extensible so easily, but this is just a compromise that we cannot make anymore. It's just been so annoying. Explicitly default to copy assignment operators, implicitly delete it. Fuck, hold on. Is it though? You should really implement that. It should just copy that. I don't get it. Whatever. Why is the assignment and move operators implicitly deleted? What the fuck is that? That shouldn't happen because we're like, why not the constructors? What's wrong with assignment operators? Oh fuck. Sorry. I don't get it. We can just implement that ourselves, and I don't know why they're deleted. If anyone knows, please put it in the comments down below, but I really don't know. So don't know what this is about, but fuck it. You know what? I don't care. Why is this copyable in the first place? Transform component shouldn't be copied. I don't give a fuck. Really don't. Sprite component, right? That's the next one. Sprite component needs to take an entity reference. It has too many responsibilities, I swear to God. Like, this is not too horrible, right? This is a pretty concise way of doing that. Still. I don't know why we got that. Hold on. Thanks. This is parent transform position. We could get component to expose the position directly. Right, because each component, each entity has a transform component. Let's not do that. Parent transform position is going to be plenty of. This is not too bad. Now that there are no pointers anymore, it's not that horrible. We don't have a cleanup function yet. That wait, oh, we're not using sprite component. Never mind. I was confused why we didn't fucking crash, but we're not even using that. My God, my coffee's empty. I wanna fucking cry. Right. Fuck. Okay, what else did we break? We broke everything in orbits. No, we didn't. We broke everything. Oh, we broke this one. And body system component, we broke that. Okay. So this is how you add a component. Now you say which component, and then you pass it the arguments that aren't the entity reference, right? So you pass them everything but the entity reference, I guess. And in an entity, we will actually give it. So this is one thing. So we want to say this comma, or I guess it's the reference this, because yeah. So that's what we want, right? So make shared gives us an entity reference and then a whole bunch of arguments or no arguments. Yeah. Depending on how you look at it. Like this is so many levels of scuffed, but not my place to judge my own code right now. Really not. Right, this looks good. It won't compile though, because all the other ones are broken now. We need to update those. Okay, main.cpp is broken. I don't know why it's not complaining. Oh, there it goes. That was broken. We say add component sprite component, and we just transform that. That's pretty simple, right? Like this is not a big like refactoring thing. Could probably even do this with a regex, but I can't be fucked. Got rid of a fucking brace there. Why not? No value, no value, SF color. Yeah, we can no longer do this implicitly, so this is vec double. We can no longer call these explicitly because it can't deduce the types, the template types, right? That shouldn't, I mean, it's not that smart. This is just some sort of like demo, I guess. This whole main thing, this main.cpp, it's just a little testing demo playground thing. Not really valuable anyway, so. I'll just shit on it a bit here. There we go, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. Again, we can't do that because we need to say vec double. I really need to make them like in type dev for vec double. Let's do that. Let's do that. Type def or using vecd is vec double. Okay, now we'll go through vec double, switch and replace vecd. $83 occurrences. Fuck my life. Okay. Oh yeah, this one too. Let's make one for int as well, just because I feel like it. Oh, actually, one that we will need is vec. Oh no, let's not do that. Yeah, vecd is good. It's a bit ugly, but it's better than vector, vec of something. What else broke? Cells.cpp definitely broke. Yeah, this definitely broke. Hold on. Components. Fuck E. E. Oh fuck, I messed up. Hold on. C-Line format doesn't like me tonight. Oh my god, it's actually 2 fucking PM, but I don't know why I said tonight. I'm just a bit retarded. I know templates aren't the fastest thing in the world. I'm just like, well, they're not a compile. They're a compile time problem, so I don't really give a fuck. I'm sure a whole lot of other shit relies on this. These aren't full of errors though. This one is though. Okay. Okay. That should be alright. Let's see if that compiles. Like, I would be surprised if it does. But, you know. Then we actually compile SFML and the FMT library, the format library as well, because we want a very specific version to make sure that everything works as expected and that it works on different systems with different versions or whatever. Resource manager, right? Of course, resource manager is broken because we have .load and if that's whatever contents get result. Yeah, that's just gonna be fuck it, I don't know. This is ugly. No, you know what? We'll do contents. Sweet. So broken? No, not broken anymore. I'm not broken anymore. Yay. Okay, this is in force reload. Lazy file. Force reload right here. That's actually pretty successful refactoring that there if that works. Oh, that was an error. I want to see that. Component. Wait, did we mess up? Oh, and tests. Oh my god, I forgot about the tests. We're testing a lot. We're testing most of these things here because that's the right way to do it. Like, that's basically just, I don't know. This is like work, but it has to be done, and so I'm like, whatever. It's actually a good idea. We should run the tests afterwards to make sure that everything isn't broken. Right, we need to make unique component entity E component E. We could make a macro that like does this, right? Because it's just a bunch of copy paste for like default constructors anyways, but I can't be fucked to do that. At the moment, I might put a fix me in it. That build and yep, there's a whole lot of errors here. So we get a core dump as well at the end. That's really nice. No world attached. This can't be right. Entity destroy without a world. What? What? What's happening? Entity CTOR. Non-constant entity CTOR. Where is that? Right here, non-constant entity CTOR. What line? 8. No, that's just a test case line. No world attached. What the fuck is that? Probably the entity that's complaining that it doesn't have a world, right? Yeah, it has a world pointer. And yeah, this is failing. No world attached, this can't be right. That's not very good. Are we trying to? It's not. Wait, what? Supposed to throw, yeah. Does has component throw now? I think has component might throw. Hold on. Has component might throw. Because what are we doing here? Are we constructing components? No, we're not. We're not. What else are we doing? Oh, is it just because we're what does Hasworld do? Does Hasworld return static cast pool? Now, to be honest, this should also have a different interface, right? The construction of an entity should have a fucking completely different interface, similar to the add component interface, right? But we'd have to change a lot of code for that, and I don't really want to do that right now. I just want to know what calls world, honestly. Oh no, fuck, I did it wrong. This is a regex search, so anything dot world. Actually, we don't really care, just something world. For each entity, manage your parent world application. Right, right. So we assume there is a world and there isn't because this is actually a reference, and it makes us think that there is a reference in this thing, but it's not. We need to fix this too. It's just one of those refactoring things that I there's no way to do this any other way. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a world reference W. Well, let's call it world. Let's be all fancy about it. And wait, we do actually have that constructor down here. World reference world. And then that's gonna be behind this. We're not gonna use a set world or anything like that. Do we even have that? I don't think we do. There we go. Let's get rid of hasworld because hasworld is not a thing. Actually, wait, hold on. Let's keep that so that I can remember to clean it in the other places too. Because this is just assuming as well that everything, okay, whatever, like this entire thing has to not be here. This entire thing needs to move here because it's going to become a templated function right here. Whoops. We're going to template the fuck out of this because this is going to be a template type name ellipsis args, and this is going to take args, r value reference, where is that? There. Args, can't type today, great. And then instead of doing this, we just do step forward. We don't have that here. Standard forward args, expand that, and well shit. Well shit. We get a cyclic reference, like a cyclic dependency, or yikes. That's why it's objectively better to make this not like that, but it's at entity is not, oh my god, fucking kill me. These need to, well, this includes entity already, and it needs it, I think, so we're kind of lost here, honestly. I don't really know how we should do this. So yeah, an entity to the one. Is this a good way to do that? You could just construct it and then give it to the add child method. So we could keep the add child method the same. Yikes. Class world's not a pointer. Yeah, I know. So instead of doing this, we want to give it a pointer. Or just a reference. I don't know. Just give it a reference. Add child reference. And we'll just take the value ourselves. So we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do any of this. We do check whether entity has a parent already. Because if it does, we don't want to fuck with that. We're not going to manipulate other entities here. We'll have a thing like move child, and it will do that, but I don't feel like doing that. Entity dot. That's gonna be entity address of entity, and we don't return anything. So we set the parent, we set the parent transform, we add it to the children, and we're good. This is rather odd though. Should probably find it by UUID instead of by pointer. Okay. Now in the test ACS here. We don't have this anymore. We can't construct an entity anymore. Whatever. You're not supposed to be able to construct an entity like that, so maybe we'll just make the entity constructor private. Because I don't want anyone to construct that. That's just some fucking bullshit. So then in world, right, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. So add entity is actually something that goes from here into the header file because it's now a proper big boy thing. Template, that's what it's called. So instead of doing this, we template it. Did we even need to template this at all? Or can we just assume that it has? No, let's template it in case you wanna. In case, no, actually that doesn't make sense. We always know the constructor. So maybe we don't even need to do any of this because we don't need to template the constructor thing because we don't care, right? Oh, this is unnecessary. But what we really want is we want this to just take a const vecti reference position and that's all we want, right? That should work. And then in the entity we can do the same thing that we did before because I did like that better. This right here where we return a wake pointer and that sort of thing. But instead of doing that, here we do const vecti reference position. This is kind of a relative position, even, and this, that, and the other thing. Hold on, let's keep undoing that part. Yikes. Okay, so instead of this, we'll now do that. Add entity, pause. It's gonna be this dot. This all stays the same. I don't really care. So even if I want to do like weld W, like this should just fail because we shouldn't be able to access that because that's a, right, this should be a private constructor. Yeah, so we don't want to be able to construct like that, so we make a weld And yeah, this is how it's supposed to do that. All right, this is how it's supposed to do that. So we make a new application, then we get a world, and then entity is world, add entity 0, 0 dot lock. Yeah. And then we do the same thing here. Instead of this, we do const. Not that it really matters that much. You always need an application and a world and all that to actually make stuff work like this. Can't do it any other way. This is just such a mess. Oh my god. This is such a mess. Entity hierarchy. That entire thing is fucky. I don't need this. Whatever we use this for is not right. What do we use that for? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know why we're doing this. Like, this is complete fucking bullshit. No, it's not. Wait. See, we just completely get rid of that idea of even doing that. Like, we don't even need to check that that's getting passed around properly and that sort of thing. It's not, like, this is not a concern. Okay, world add entity should seriously have a default constructor, default value for this, like that. And entity add child also should. That will initialize it with 0 or some shit. The mechanisms should still be the same, obviously, otherwise the entire thing wouldn't work. And need to add more tests. Okay. Let's build it. Oh yeah, that's a lot of errors right there. Static cast. Well, that's my mistake. There's no has world anymore. I'm undid so many things that I just got kind of confused. It's private within this context. Yeah, well, it's not though, because we explicitly declare world the friend clause. So this is some absolute fucking bullshit. This is absolute fucking bullshit. Absolutely no reason for this to be like that. This is literally a friend. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Fuck off. That's so stupid. That it can't even, like, when it's a friend, it can't even access the private. Fuck off. That's dumb shit. A bunch of dumb shit. Alright, orbits is broken now again. Because we are actually initializing stuff like the old way. Okay. The primary... What? expected primary. You're fucking kidding me. Primary expression, my ass. Oh, great. Primary expression. You just fuck off. Just fuck. Fuck off. My god, what a horrible, horrible language. Test ECS. Where's the error right there? Goodbye. We don't have that method anymore. We don't have this method anymore. Let's build that again. Okay. Expected primary expression. So add component is not a function, apparently. And I would really like to know why. Because add component really seems like it is one. You know? It just really seems like it. I get that it wants some sort of, I don't even know what it wants. Honestly, I'm so confused right now. Let's rebuild everything. And cue the errors. Not many errors so far. Should see it that way, you know? Not too many errors. Just a few really bullshit ones. That have absolutely no, like, reason. Like, these don't make any sense, right? Like, you would think that, okay, maybe main.cpp is broken in some other way. Maybe this is breaking it, right? Let's assume that that's why. Because it's trying to figure out, yeah, that's probably it, to be honest. Okay, we don't want to use that anymore. What's class entity? Okay, where are we? Test core. Test core? Why is test core fucking around with entities? Why is it not doing that, gamer? Like, what the fuck? Stop doing this. Why did I write it like that? That's so ugly. That entire subcase doesn't exist anymore. Okay. There's another one. Cells. Forgot about all this fuckery right here. I'll demonstrate all these programs and how they work, obviously. I will demonstrate that. Okay, I got an error and I didn't see it. Vec.h instantiation of body conversion, that's not it. In test ECS 50. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Fuck. You should make a copy and a move identity thing. If that really makes a lot of sense. This is why we needed, why we would need templates in the first place, right? So entity add child is actually going to be templated because I cannot be bothered to do this entire thing twice. So I'll do it once proper, and then the other one is just going to be templated like this, and I cannot, for the love of me, be fucked to do this properly. So this one's going to be template, type name, args, add entity args, standard forward, args, args, 3 dots. Whoa, what the fuck? Okay. Include utility. Incomplete. Incomplete class. Incomplete type. Does world.age really need it? Like, let's be real. We could probably go without this. Like, this is some dumb shit. There's no reason for that to actually do that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, these functions, I don't like them. I don't need them. I don't want them. Pretty simple, really. Wait, we should be able to do this though. It's an incomplete type, right? Thank you. Const entity reference entity or a entity. These are all the options that we have. That I want anyways. And so what I want is these to be proper. I want this to actually copy it. So don't really care about any of this. Okay. This should be available now. Add child. There. Still complaining? Oh my god, this is like so fucking annoying. There's so much complaining going on. That happens, I guess, when you write shit interfaces, then you have to change them all. Like that's, I don't know. Incomplete type, yeah, I knew it. Because this here needs ECS entity, right? Yes. Okay, that one also needs entity.h, entity.h, please. Oh, right there, this one. That was the entire reason we did that, right? So let's get that over here into core world h. God, will I be glad when this finally fucking works? Like, just work. Just, oh my god, just work. I'm changing too much around at the same time, and it's just really fucking me up right now. The fuck? Oh, yeah. Engine.h should really include the ECS stuff. Like, it really should, so. Well, include, I cannot type today, ECS component and entity. Oh, wow, someone knocked at my door. Is that not the cutest thing? Okay. So, right now in the orbits CPP, we should have access to this. We do. For some reason, we didn't have that. Oh, something else failed. Test core. Not really something we need. The tests are all shit anyways. They're just kind of there as like a sanity check for all the components to work and whatever, so. Crashed. Non-constancy constructor crashed. That's it. That's it. We just fucking crash. Oh my god, okay. That's okay, that's so annoying. We crashed in the non-const seater. Why? Okay, let's GDB orbits. Maybe orbits crashes too. Yeah. Okay, component entity reference. Our components. Loop engine component entity reference. Component entity reference. How the fuck do you do this? No? Okay. I guess not. I got to know that we're crashing in component at least. Parent. World. Application. It's a pointer. It's a pointer. Oh my god. This is getting like pretty deep into the fucking. This is getting really fucking messy. Like this is getting messy. The way I did this was so goddamn retarded that like the entire way I did this, like this whole thing, like what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? That's so fucking stupid. Okay, I'm gonna grab stuff from the game window constructor. Title size. That goes in here. That's it. That's what how our constructor is gonna look. None of that stupid shit. Oh my god. New window. Title size. Like, I wonder who's cleaning these up. I don't think anyone's cleaning these up. This should be cleaned up. Oh, they're managed. That makes sense. I was about to say, why are we even using raw pointers? We're not. They're managed. Which means they're unique pointers. That's all this is. It's just a front for a unique pointer. In case I want to change it to a different pointer type later, I don't have to do all this garbage again. And then game window and world can both take an application reference app in their constructor, and that way we don't have to deal with it being a pointer So we make it a reference, and we just know that it's there, and we're good. So what's that? That's the last one. So let's put that in the end here. Application app, we're good. And then we'll do the same thing with the world. Then this is annoying. Application reference app. And this becomes a reference, and we can't set a reference to no pointer. That would be kind of odd. Right, let's do this. That's application app. Oh my god, this is so annoying. Okay. Now in all of these we have to stop doing this. We have to start giving them actual arguments like that. I mean, this just simplifies the code a whole lot, and it makes it way more clear what the fuck we want, right? The window and the world and all that, those are like abstractions for other stuff as well. But I feel like they're a little bit too detailed already for the just instantiating a new app. We don't want to have to call these ourselves. Like, we can mess up, we can make a world and pass it, and like pass it a address of it, and then it's just the most ugly, disgusting shit. And this way it's pretty sweet, because that way the what do you call that? Responsibility is with the application and not the user that writes code for the engine, right? And we should just use this again. Auto reference, Windows, app, window. That's how we make a window. Like, we make an application, then we grab the window from it. That's the only sane way to do it, to be honest with you. Right, that's the only good way to do it. World is app world, and whoops, what the fuck? Window is, well, apps window, right? Why would that throw? This is not even the thing anymore. Returns proper pointer and attached properly. I'm so confused what we were trying to do here. I wrote these tests as like at like 4 a.m. I don't I don't know what the fuck these do. Okay. Rebuild that again. How many lines of code is this? A good question that I'm asking myself right now. We have WCL. Um, um, there it is. That's not right. That's not right at all. I don't know, it's like 2009 or some shit. Okay. Why did we fail again? I fucking forgot. Right, the world CPP here has this fuckery going on, and we just did reference that blindly. I don't even know why I didn't even try to make that right. Whatever. We still have some issues here in the world. Right here somewhere. Yeah, right here. We don't have to throw any runtime errors anymore. This can become a .uuid. Oh, becomes a lot safer and a lot like better, I guess. And this no longer has to Do that. It passes itself. That way. Sure. Not match for operator equals. Not on conversions from application pointer to application reference. What? Alt.h24. What the fuck? What are you even saying, dude? Application and application pointer. Well, okay, we're definitely doing some fucky shit. Hold on. Oh, fuck, I'm dumb. Nowhere do we have a replication pointer anymore. I'm wondering if that's just me not saving a file or something. Yeah, that was just me not saving a file because I just saved everything again. Game window CPP is actually having some issues. Right here, where we're being retarded. Right here, where we're being retarded. Right here, where we are being very retarded. I think that's it. We should now build and run again. And let's see if that fixes some of the dumb... Oh, okay, well, never mind, actually. In orbits, we've, like, edited that file. It held 100,000 times today. Yikes. This is way easier now, though. Like, this is very pretty. I almost enjoy that. I want it to be an engine that's easy to set up, easy to get going, I guess, you know. And yeah, that's why I'm doing all these interfaces, making them more pretty. I just don't want to have to. I don't know. I don't like the way that this was relying on people knowing how to use this. Like, yeah, before you could just pass any pointer to a game window. It doesn't, and then it would be put into a unique pointer, and so you could really fucking screw up there. Like I'm saying, like really screw up. And did you see turn on const? Still crashing. Make sure this comp is unique. Pushback center move. Comes back. Dynamic cast. Anything in here could crash, honestly. And then what we're actually adding is a... I don't even know where we're crashing here. Does orbits run? I doubt it does. Yeah, we still got the same segfault. See, that's odd, because I thought that what I just did fixed that, but I guess it didn't. What does transform component actually fucking do in its constructor? Nothing. It does jack shit. Okay. What does the component constructor do? We set the resource manager to parent world application resource manager. Okay. I'm lost, so let's turn all debug options on and see what this yields. I was gonna rebuild, hold on. Alright, it's almost done. Almost done building, there it is. And now we'll just GDB that, run that. There we go, now we get proper things here, proper back traces and all that. We say world application, but was actually null pointer, or no, it doesn't. World doesn't exist in some way, so that's what's happening here. So this world right here is returning this world right here. That one right there is doing this one right here, and that one is that one. And that one is in the world. And world add entity. We are giving it us. This should work. World application. This is 0. That's bad. So in component, right here, world is null pointer. Like world doesn't exist in any way. Oh. Oh shit. No, we always have a parent, right? There's no instance of us never having a parent or something. There we go. Fuck. Application. Return an application. Fuck. We can't do that because the world is not there, and my question is why? Like at which point does that happen? It happens in make shared somewhere. Oh god. So we add an entity. Make shared, allocate shared. It's all standard stuff. Then we get to the entity constructor. Add component, transform component, vec double const reference. Yeah, then we make transform component entity reference, vec double const reference. Then a bunch of more shared pointer stuff. Then more shared pointer stuff, and then we get to the transform component constructor. And from there, we call the component constructor, and that calls world application. Is resource where do we actually give the world a resource manager? I'm wondering, but that's not it. That doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with it. The resource manager, should we use mparent or some shit? Like, wondering if for some reason that makes a difference. It shouldn't. Like, it shouldn't make any difference at all because it does make a difference. Good. Okay. At least I'm not retarded. World application, this is 0. Fuck. Okay, whatever. I wanna set a... Okay, I wanna set a breakpoint at ECS component CPP, or just component. Component is where I want. Okay, run that. Breakpoint hit. Okay. So what's that? Show locals. Fuck. Okay, what's entity? Hold that entity lock. Yeah. Okay, what do we do? We do object, object, entity, world, component, component, world application. Why? Where? Where the fuck? Yeah, this should not suck for right, yeah. So, so we get component, component, entity. This works. Hmm. Actually, does it work? I don't know. Yeah, no, this is the same object, right? Right, so we're looking at the same component here. So the same component, first, this. We get mParent, which fuck knows what that's supposed to be about. Okay, whatever, like, we're constructing a component with an entity. We give it a new UID, we do an atomic add fetch, that's not what is important here. And we give it back the world. Right? That's this first circle. Can we do that again? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm so confused. What the fuck is going on? Let's make a report warning and let's print, because printing is the best type of debugging. Unless it doesn't print. Okay. So at least we know that we never arrive here, that we immediately fail, right? So now we'll figure out in orbits at CPP, what are we actually doing? We're saying add entity, right? Now that could be any of these, right? And um, shouldn't have this, by the way. Shouldn't be able to move an entity into another world, like, that's not right. Let's try that again. It's gotta be something stupid like that, where it resolves to the wrong constructor, and then it doesn't get the world assigned or some shit, and it just dies. Like, it's gonna be something like that. So, um, report, what's the code function? There. That's what we want. So that way we know exactly what function has been called. Because I don't feel like debugging that properly right now. Okay, so construct D was called. That's the right one at least, right? And so now we add the entities to add. We push it back by making a shared entity where we give it this. And if I put that one there, it's not gonna print anymore, right? Because we crash right there. Yeah. So we crash right here. And the make shared. So what is make shared a macro for? Okay, that's supposed to be standard make shared first of all. Um, so it's this line of code right here, right? And this calls the entity constructor. With a world reference and a vector. Which, oh no. How long did that take? Like 30 minutes? Oh my god, I'm fucking retarded. Order of initialization matters, right? We make the transform and then we assign the world. This is exactly why we shouldn't do this sort of thing like that. It's fucking retarded. So this is what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be first initialize the world, then add the transform, right? Because that way, oh my god, yeah, now it works. Fucking look, what should compile and run fine? What should compile and run absolutely fine? Yeah, there you go. Screen is black because I'm zoomed in so much, but yeah, this is very laggy though. I don't know why that. Oh, because we're in debug mode, right. Talking about debug mode, I don't like it. Release mode, it is. Let's just use O3. How fast is a bit retarded. I think that's it for this video. I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe something else comes up, but I'll run the tests and then we'll see whether it's over or not, whether we're done here. Oh yes, that's way faster. You can already tell that's fluid as fuck. These all exert forces on each other like proper particles or planets or whatever you want. Oof. They grow and all that, as I said. A little bit like a Gario, if you will, in some way, you know? That's so fucking cool. I love this thing, like I love that I built this. It's so cool. Look at that. The color interpolation isn't quite right, but that's a topic for another video. These are supposed to all be the same color. We should only enter. Let's quickly do that too. So let's first commit this as a commit that. Holy fuck, we just changed everything, didn't we? Fucking kill me. Alright. Nice. Rewrite component entity. Well, okay, so world add entity add component to use variadic templates instead of what's it called? Like new R what's that, like an L value reference passing. New plus our L value reference passing. Okay. That's a lot of code changes. Fucking hell. Okay. But it's one change, so that's how it's supposed to be. Now, ladies, let's see. What did I want to do? Oh yeah, I wanted the color interpolation to work differently. So the colors should only be interpolated with each other in some way. First of all, they should be fully interpolated, I guess, like if that makes sense. I'm not doing this right, by the way. Like this is not at all how you're supposed to do it, but That's only if body 1 color is not body 2 old color. Then we want to actually do that. Otherwise the colors stay the same, because if 2 of the same color combine... Actually, hold on. The way this change I made should already fix that. Let's see what happens. I know I have a whole bunch of problems with like... Whoa, wait, why is that so fast? Oh, because it doesn't... I don't know, this seems like it's still doing that. Are they still different colors? The important thing is that the little fragments... Oh no, they're all the same. They're all the same color. That's what I wanted. So what this should do is it should linearly interpolate between the 2 colors. And wait, this is retarded. RGB. Why? Why am I so fucking stupid? Okay, let's try that again. This is why I write tests, because I'm fucking stupid. Like, I legitimately don't know what I'm doing 50% of the time. Well, 50 is actually quite the statement. I just want 2 of some like different colors to collapse. Oh, these are gonna look. Boop, and that slightly changed that color, right? Slightly. Or these 2? Yeah, that one just completely changed. Okay, so that should actually interpolate between being completely that color and being completely that color plus that color divided by 2, right? That's what they should interpolate between. That's what they should interpolate. So not like, they can't become completely the other color, but worst case, quote unquote worst case, is that they both become half and half the color of the other one, I guess. And that's only if they have like the same mass, which they probably won't have. Won't have? I don't know. Okay. So this, for example, shouldn't change that much. Yeah, it doesn't. Now if 2 bigger ones collide and one picks up all the ones from the other, can we see that somewhere? I don't see any of in collision course. Well, these 2 are on collision course. Let's see that. Yeah, it turned very gray in there. Yeah, so, okay, so the colors now do change based on what you hit. I really want to improve the rendering. I really, really do. Because the rendering performance is fucking horrible. And you probably can't increase the rendering performance for something like this. Because it's already, this is one draw call, right? Already, like, this is one draw call. So it can't really get much better than that. Honestly. Tell me this is not the coolest thing in the world. How this one is attracting that one, and now that one is orbiting this one. Look how fucking cool that is. Look, that one is orbiting this one. Let's try it anyways. Boop. Boop. Are they gonna hit each other? Come on, go ahead. Yeah, so the idea is that eventually you have like a big blob somewhere. Let's play around with that a little bit more. So let's put them all closer together. And I think one of the main reasons we're actually getting all this fucking lag is because of the way they move. They should really not move like that, but fuck it. Okay, so we immediately have a lot more crashing going on. We should get a bunch like bigger planets, right? And that the idea here is that if you have bigger planets, eventually you have something that's really large when they all crash into each other. And then you have all these tiny little particles that will crash into each other again to make planets, right? Like this. cluster here, they're all gonna crash into each other in some way, and you'll see a bunch of like bigger things farming like that one, you know? Maybe this one crashes in and grabs them all up. And so that way we kind of preserve mass in this tiny little universe here, I guess. And they all have a little bit of velocity, which is probably too much, so let's change their velocity around a little bit here. Make it half. Well, half the... I don't know if that makes it half. Does it make it half? I don't know. Hi. Okay. The mass is actually pretty constant here. So when they crash into each other, if they're big enough, 25% of their mass will actually go into those tiny particles. And if, yeah, they don't have to though. Like if they're too small, like the small ones are also the same thing as the big ones. They don't crash. Like if they crash into something, they don't explode because that would cause major fucking lag. But yeah, you can see it's getting like quite few now. Some grow really, really large, and the movement speed is quite high at the moment. It gets faster the less things there are because of the way I set it up, like I don't have delta time. But you see how these are attracted to this big one, right? That's pretty cool. And now they're all shooting out to fuck knows where. And we see, maybe we see some stuff orbiting here. Whoa, those are some small ones. Yikes. But yeah, if we follow this one, we can see that one's orbiting. That one. Not very well, but I think this one is orbiting that one though. I don't know. That one definitely is. Look at that one. That one's orbiting this one. Because they're so far away from everything else, there's not really much stopping it. This one too is orbiting. These are kind of similar orbits or whatever. Look at them. I need to make it so that you can focus on an object or something, but that's complicated. So this is a little system. Oh, this guy. Ooh, look at this. A nice, I guess, planet and moon kind of deal, or maybe a binary system of some kind. Look at him. That's a highly elliptical orbit, or eccentric, I guess is what you would call that in physics. These are really my favorite, I think. This one is pretty cool. I don't know, these ones, I don't know what they're doing. Oh, look at these. They captured into a proper orbit. Look at them. Look at them go. That's so cool. Oh, those almost hit each other. Holy shit, did you see that? And that one got catapulted out from that close encounter. Then you have this one. Ooh, is it capturing? No. That doesn't look like it's capturing. Goodbye. I don't know, maybe actually this has a pretty high sphere of influence or whatever. These are still going strong. Oh, are you gonna see some collision here? Or no. I get the feeling that maybe I should make the particles way smaller. Make way more. And just see what happens. Look at these two. They're pretty stable. Like, they're not crashing into each other. Like, it's just a pretty sweet little system. I know I'm just nerding out about this shit, but it's nice. I like it. That's why I made that. And I mean, you can't see jack shit because it's so dark and whatever. This one's a loner. Actually, it isn't. Look at that one. That one is probably orbiting that one. So what we can do is we can actually make the size like the 5 is actually pretty good. Let's make this bit bigger. Let's make the size limit smaller. That way we get more from the small ones. And we'll see what happens. And I know the recording is going on for forever, but it's not like I care. Okay, now we get like a proper huge amount when they explode. Like, poof, look at all of them. Okay, so we already have this one orbiting that one, but that's not gonna last very long. Yeah, there you go. And And I hope that one's gonna like get really large here in the middle. They're all attracted to the middle, right? Sort of. Actually, don't know, maybe. The ones on the side anyways, they're attracted to go here. There's so much small shit going on now that I'm not even really sure. Look at that. These have to crash into each other. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, we'll see that here in a second, I think. Maybe not. Maybe these won't even catch each other, but these will. That's good enough, I guess. Look at that. Oof. It's inspired by some Wikipedia article. Don't remember. But the reason it's going faster, as I said, it's because it's not, as it's capped to the frame rate. So the less shit we have, the more it actually. Oh damn! Look at these little tiny little particles. Boof! Look at that. That's so cool. So cool. And so yeah, this is what I wanted. So you have all these tiny particles orbiting because of something that impacted, and this is kind of how moons are supposedly formed. At least if I don't remember that completely wrong. Look at this one. That one's so cute. That one's so cute. Okay, what else do we have? This one's orbiting. Oh, there's a tiny one there. Look at them. Oh, ooh, barely missed it. Yikes. Well, almost missed it is what I meant to. Well, barely missed it because it did miss, right? Oof. They all have their little like moons and whatever. It's so cool. Look how cool that is. I know the spread is really fucking pixelated. I don't care. Oh, look at this guy. Wee. I want to see some collisions between like tiny boys. Like tiny little stars or planets, whichever. That one's just gonna impact. Boop. Goodbye. We should add some like effects to it that it like you can see the impact or whatever. Like more than just little particles. Look at this system. This system is still going strong. That's so cute. Look at these two. Are they together? I don't know. Maybe. How about these guys? Wait, what the fuck is this? Look at this. It's so tiny. That's what she said. Look, it's a tiny little planet. It's just cruising. That one doesn't have anyone. That's so cool. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, all that sort of jazz, and talk to you in the next one.